Hi, this is Abhijit. Welcome to my project demonstration video. The aim of the project was to build an intelligent customer help desk with smart document understanding using different services available on the IBM cloud. The main purpose of this project is to develop a chatbot that can solve simple and basic queries posed by many customers or users. The project was divided into several modules or tasks. First, you have to register yourself on the IBM cloud. I already have an account. We will be using different services to build our chatbot such as Watson Discovery, Watson Assistant, Node-RED and lastly Cloudant Database to store Node-RED flow configuration. After registering yourself, go to the catalog section and search for Watson Assistant. With IBM Watson Assistant, you can build conversational interfaces into any application, device, or channel. Most virtual assistants try to mimic human interactions, but Watson Assistant is more. Watson Assistant knows when to search for an answer from a knowledge base, when to ask for clarity, and when to direct you to a human. Create an instance of Watson Assistant and after that launch your Watson Assistant. There are three basic terms one should be familiar with in order to work with Watson Assistant. These are intents, entities and dialog. Intents are purposes or goals that are expressed in a customer's input, such as answering a question or processing a bill payment. By recognizing the intent expressed in a customer's input, the Watson Assistant service can choose the correct dialog flow for responding to it. Entities represent information in the user input that is relevant to the user's purpose. If intents represent verbs, the action a user wants to do, entities represent nouns, the object of, or the context for, that action. For example, when the intent is to get a weather forecast, the relevant location and date entities are required before the application can return an accurate forecast. The dialog defines what your assistant says in response to customers. The dialog response defines how to reply to the user. You can reply in the following ways: simple text response, rich responses and conditional responses. After adding dialogues, give some time to Watson Assistant to train itself.
You can test your chatbot by clicking on the Try It button.
After creating an instance of Watson Assistant, now it's time to integrate it with Watson Discovery. The typical customer care chatbot can answer simple questions, store locations and hours, directions, and maybe even making appointments. When a question falls outside of the scope of the predetermined question set, the option is typically to tell the customer the question isn't valid or offer to speak to a real person. To take it a step further, the project shall use the Smart Document Understanding feature of Watson Discovery. This will improve the answers returned from the queries. Go to the catalog section and search for Watson Discovery to create an instance of Discovery. With IBM Watson Discovery, you can ingest, normalize, enrich, and search your unstructured data, JSON, HTML, PDF, Word, and more, with speed and accuracy. We will use the Smart Document Understanding feature of Watson Discovery to train it on what text in the owner's manual is important and what is not. This will improve the answers returned from the queries. Import your document. I am using Ecobee 3 thermostat manual which is in PDF format. The goal is to annotate all of the pages in the document so Discovery can learn what text is important, and what text can be ignored. As you go through the annotations one page at a time, Discovery is learning and should start automatically updating the upcoming pages. Once you get to a page that is already correctly annotated, you can stop, or simply click Submit to acknowledge it is correct. The more pages you annotate, the better the model will be trained. After your Discovery has been trained, we will integrate it with Watson Assistant using IBM Cloud Functions Web Action. We will write a JavaScript code to and invoke it with four parameters, namely URL, environment_id, collection_id and ing_API key. The Watson Assistant can now post queries to the Watson Discovery. The last step is to integrate the trained Watson Assistant into a web page so end users can also access it. Till this point, only the developers had access to the Watson Assistant. For this we will use Node-RED. Now this will be the last time we will go to the catalog section. Search for Node-RED and create an instance of it. Node-RED is a programming tool for wiring together hardware devices, apps and online services in new and interesting ways. It provides a browser-based editor that makes it easy to wire together flows using the wide range of nodes in the palette that can be deployed to its runtime in a single click inside Node-RED. We will first install Node-RED Dashboard to create an UI. We will be using webhooks to connect our Node-RED with Watson Assistant. In Node-RED there are three types of nodes: input, output and functionality nodes. We will use a form node to create a form where the user can enter and submit his queries to the bot. After you have configured your Node-RED flow, you must deploy it in order to see changes in your app. You must deploy after every change you make. Now finally it's time to test your chatbot. You can access your app by clicking on this dashboard button on the top right corner and then on the button below it. You can test your app by asking it some technical questions about Ecobee 3 thermostat, but first let's say hello. We can see that the chatbot gave a response, which means it works perfectly fine. Let's ask a question like, how can I see local weather forecast on my Ecobee 3? We can see that it provides perfect answer. You can also ask some other questions such as, how can I configure my Wi-Fi settings? How to reset my Ecobee 3 thermostat? How do I clean my thermostat? How can I configure my heat pump? To sum up the video, we first create a customer care dialog skill in Watson Assistant. Then use smart document understanding to build an enhanced Watson Discovery collection. Then we create an IBM Cloud Functions web action that allows Watson Assistant to post queries to Watson Discovery. And lastly, build a web application with integration to all these services and deploy the same on IBM Cloud Platform.